Today I've put a perfect 99 overall wide receiver on the worst team in college football. New Mexico is just a 67 overall on the updated rosters, which is tied for the lowest in the game, but if we added the best player in the country to their lineup, I want to see if it's possible for them to have success. Hopefully we'll make it to the 12-team playoffs, break every single NCAA record, and maybe even win it all with New Mexico. But even though these stats are completely perfect, we have work to do because I can't call my own plays yet, and I have to complete all 6 of these challenges in today's video, or else I'm giving away a jersey to a random commenter. The star of the show is going to be Martavis Bryant's son, and our outlook in the Mountain West is looking very grim, but we are supposed to be one of the worst teams in the country, and even with a perfect player, we're only a 70 overall team. Before our first game, I do want to get a run in practice just to see how I'll do, and with a terrible offensive line, that could be an issue in this video. Now, I won't be running the routes I'm supposed to all of the time because that's not a great idea, and I should not be dropping any passes. I should also win this jump ball as a 6'7" wide receiver, and I think it's time to see if we can take down Kent State. What's nice about this is they're also not good, but it seems like I am going to have a chance to return kicks every so often this year, and the only bad part about playing wide receiver is sometimes I have to block for whenever we decide to run the ball. Here on 3rd and 5, we're actually passing. This is a cover 2, and I've run straight by my man, but he's going to get back to it. They're going to get an interception on us already. This is not a great start for the perfect wide receiver, and they'd instantly score a touchdown, so you have to wonder if it's going to be possible for us to have any success, but my teammate did get open, and after running the ball a couple of times, we're throwing it again where I'm open here, and it's out of bounds. That is not great news, making this a 3rd and 8, but I think I ran a pretty good route here, and they get another interception on us, so I just have to hope that we can catch them, and they would score again, so there is so much that we can learn from this first game, but I did beat them deep here, which really needed to happen on this 3rd and 7. I don't know what type of play we just ran, but we picked it up, but my team also seems to run the ball a lot, and on 4th and 2, you've got to be kidding me. My team's defense got a safety, which is how we got our first points in this game, and I think it's going to be very hard to have success as a perfect wide receiver. I've done this with a perfect halfback literally on Kent State, and I won't spoil that video, but let's just say it started off a lot better than this. I think as the video goes on, I will start to figure some things out, but the play calling has been super rough. On 3rd and 19, I don't know what we're doing, and maybe I should just run whatever routes out there on the field, but I feel like I'm better finding the open space. Even as a 99 overall receiver in every category, I still drop this pass, and by the time 3rd and 6 rolls around, I'm instantly calling for the ball. They're actually going to hit me deep, and that is going to lead to my first touchdown of the year. It was only a matter of time before Martavis Bryant Jr. figured it out, and I know we're playing against Kent State, who's also not very good, but we're doing pretty well defensively. Now we just got to keep pushing it down the field. I instantly called for the ball here. 27 is not going to be quick enough to keep up with me either. So in the matter of just a few minutes, we've taken a 1-point lead, and with the 2-point conversion, I'm actually going to run my route. Kent State wasn't able to score either, and I just ran by my man, but apparently we've thrown an interception. So then they would get a touchdown, and I'm going to have an opportunity to return this kickoff. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it happen, but I've juked to the outside. There's just one player to beat, and I think unless the kicker is able to catch me, I am going to put my team back up by 3 points. We should be okay going forward if we could just limit turnovers, and I am able to cook so many different DBs if they're slow. So that's exciting, and I think I'm close to setting a record. One of the goals in this video is to break the single game receiving yard record, and that's 405 yards, so I still have a bit of a way to go. But if I could just break free a couple more times, it is possible to potentially get it, and this is on Heisman difficulty, but we're making the computer look silly. I'm pretty sure the speed threshold also set at 50, so it should be even harder to run straight by the defense. But we've had no issues today, and I just need my team to throw the ball a couple more times. Now it's 3rd and 9, so I have my opportunity, and I'm gonna have to hopefully bring this in. But my quarterback completely missed me, and it looks like Kent State has scored again, so we're only up by 7. Now there was 15 seconds left, so we just ran out the rest of the clock. But if we're barely beating them, I don't know how we're supposed to make it to the playoffs, and I was only able to get 313 receiving yards, so I haven't completed any challenges in this video yet. But at least I don't have to worry about stat upgrades because everything is already perfect. As for my coach trust, we're a 1/3 of the way to being able to flip the play calls, and UTEP is a much higher overall than we are. There's really not a great way to say this, but we need to destroy the Miners in this matchup, and for my first route of the day, I'm gonna break to the outside. Number 1 just got cooked, but this guy's kinda quick. He's keeping up with me, but he's not able to bring me down at 6'7", and they would respond back, but it's all good. I dropped the kickoff, so we are starting this drive on the 3-yard line, and that slant got me open. open. I wish we didn't call so many running plays, but once I earn enough coach trust, that's no longer going to be an issue, and it was so easy to get open here. I didn't think I'd be able to spin both those defenders though, and it's a shame that this drive is going to end because we run it on 3rd and 6. Luckily, our defense would get it back pretty quick, but they didn't hit me on this 3rd and 5. They found somebody else, which worked, and our drive would continue. I'm hopefully going to get open here, but our quarterback has lost the ball. They're going to scoop it up, and I think we're going to be able to eventually track this guy down, but they'd still get a field goal out of it. So with 1.5 minutes left, we're down by 3. So we've got to find a way to get some points before the half, and I think I'm going to help us do it. I do wish that I could put my own routes out there on the field sometimes because that curl was not clean, but I was able to break the tackle and get out of bounds. And the second that I can earn some more coach trust, it's going to be so much easier to have success. Our offensive line clearly isn't the best, but this wide receiver screen went pretty well. And on 3rd and 2, I could have run the C route, but I wanted to give us a chance at picking up the first down. Quarterback Dylan Hopkins is now 11 for 12 with no turnovers, so he's playing better than he did in our last matchup, and he's also rushed for quite a bit here. So maybe we can trust him a little bit, and I just need him to see me open in the end zone. That is exactly how I wanted to end that first half. And to start the second, you can see the mountains in the backdrop. It has become night now. I'm getting a chance to return the opening kickoff, but I'm not going to be able to do it, I do not think. I've still set us up pretty nicely though, especially if they're going to run cover 2. And we're doing a lot better in this game than I thought we'd actually do. If our defense keeps doing the things that they're doing, we could win the Mountain West Conference, and that was a halfback screen, but I was still able to get a reception out of it, and I don't think I'm going to have any issues winning the Heisman Trophy in this one. I mean, I'm close to racking up double-digit touchdowns in just 2 games, so by the end of the season, there's a chance that I could have an insane number, and I wish he would have hit me there. Every time we get close to the end zone, I become a vulture, and with that one-handed grab, I've broken my own record. Once we've gotten up by this much, we just have to run out the rest of the clock against UTEP, and I'm so proud of this New Mexico team. Right now, it seems like we could go undefeated, and that would mean sneaking into the 12-team playoff, but now I'm seeing that Pitt is on our schedule next. Of the remaining games on our schedule, that's got to be one of our hardest ones besides Fresno State and Boise State, and I figured since we're leading the country in receiving yards, I'd be on the Heisman watch, but as of right now, Kyle McCord's the #1 option. To have success against the Panthers, we're probably going to have to score on almost every drive against them, and Dylan Hopkins seems to be getting more comfortable back there. Now I'm going to run a wicked route on this corner, and that's a great way to start this day. Our defense would also somehow start Pitt, so this is the best start that we could have had against them, and it looks like they're going with some cover 2, which I think I should be able to beat, but these DBs are better than the ones we've been facing off against, and on 3rd and 14, we're going to pick it up. Sometimes I can barely tell what's happening, and that's going to be a sack, which means this is a very big 3rd and 8, and it looks like I'm able to reel it in for a huge gain. Then they'd take me off the field, so I'd assume that we're just going to run it here, but I'm not out here for this play either, and we get in. Once again, Pitt also wouldn't score, so I don't understand how this is happening, but we are doing so well versus the Panthers, and I keep getting open. They just don't seem to have an answer to stopping our offense as we pick up another first down, and our rushing attempts have been pretty weak in this game, but these checkdowns keep moving the chains. On 3rd and goal, I can't really do much about it. We're just going to hand it off, but Dylan Hopkins made the right read, keeping it with the read option and taking it into the end zone himself. Pitt would successfully respond for the first time today, and I am going to try to steal this ball, but I wasn't able to. Now I've got to come up with a big block, and all of the stadiums that we've played in so far have looked amazing. I didn't even call for the ball there though. I swear I did not press a button, so I don't know why Dylan Hopkins threw it, but now it's going to be a 7-point game to end the half. I'm not very happy with him right now, but we still have an advantage over the Panthers, and he got that one out quick. I didn't even have an opportunity to get open in that situation, and now on 3rd and 3, instead of passing it, we decided to run. Pitt would score again, making it 21-all after stopping us, so we have got to come up with some points soon because they're starting to come back against us. I mean, they technically have since we don't have a lead any longer, but I'm confident in our abilities, and I really hope this is man-to-man coverage. It was, so the corner route got wide open. Now I just have to make sure I outrun everybody, which is what Martavis Bryant Jr. did, making it 28-21. We would also stop the Panthers, so that makes me feel a lot better about this game now. And if we can compete with an 86 overall team, that means that we're going to have a lot of success the rest of the year. I was calling for the ball here though, and Dylan Hopkins decided to force it in the double coverage instead. So we cannot have that happen again on 3rd and 10. Please just throw it to me. Now he does. But by the time I realized that he was going to do so, he already looked like he was going to take off like he has done on this play. I'm really surprised that we were able to stop the Panthers again, but I am open here. I should have caught that ball. And we're running that play back immediately because there's no way that that DB was able to react quick enough. That's part of the struggle whenever you're playing against these better teams in NCAA football. And I'm literally not going to call for the ball because as long as we don't turn it over here, we're going to be completely fine. We are set up to take a 2-possession lead versus the Panthers. And it would be nice if we could just chew a little bit of clock before doing this, but it worked out anyway. And I also have to watch our defense from the sidelines, obviously, who was not able to stop Pittsburgh, and with the onside kick, one of our guys is going to recover it. We still have to get one more first down, though. This was not a jet sweep, and the fact that they have all 3 of their timeouts puts us in a very tough position because we have got to pick up this 3rd and 1, but I got open and I'm going to seal it. I don't know why we're hiking the ball so quickly, though, because instead of running the rest of the clock out, now it's 3rd and 12, and this is not good. Apparently, we're not in our kicker's range, so we are just going to go for it, and they're going to get the interception against us. I had to try and get us across that line, and Pitt has been driving down the field. There's 26 seconds left now. This is going to get them inside our red zone, so there's a decent chance that this game goes to overtime, and on 2nd and 10, we almost had the sack. Whenever we went up 21-0, I knew that things seemed like they were just too simple against such a good team, but they completed that pass in bounds. There's only a few seconds left. They're going to get one final play off. Please do not get into the end zone here. I don't think it's going to be possible, and we just got a crazy win with New Mexico. That would have not been possible without a perfect wide receiver, and it's put his name on the map, getting him into the Heisman race. He also deserves this bye week before we start conference play, and our coach trust is so close to making him a veteran starter. Going into this, UNLV's 3-1, so I have a feeling that it's not going to be the easiest to get a win against them, but I'm still confident that we can pull it off, and this is a great first catch to get. It is so nice to be playing against some worser DBs after that game against Pitt, but Dylan Hopkins missed me on that play, and on 3rd and 6, we are just going to pick it up. I'm still not sure if it's going to be possible for me to get over 400 receiving yards in a game, knocking off that challenge in the video, but if I am going to be able to do it, it's going to be because of broken coverages like this that have left me wide open down the middle of the field, and number 5 cannot catch me. With 99 speed, it's not too difficult to just run by some of these DBs, but he has done a decent job of keeping up with me, and he did on this play as well, so I knocked him over. They would stop us there, scoring a touchdown to get it back within 1 possession as we're only up by 4 points, but I am going to try to get a kickoff return, and that juke move did not work the way that I thought it would. We're also going to take the sack, so now it's 2nd and 13. I hate to have a bunch of hitch routes out there on the field, but my teammate catching it's made it a 3rd and manageable, which I'm going to help us pick up. There's only a few minutes left in the first half now, and this DB did a great job of keeping up with me here, so I was not able to moss anybody on that play, and that's another sack. I feel like some of my other teammates have got to be getting open at some point, but they didn't, and UNLV scored again. I also fumbled the kickoff, so coming off our win against Pitt, we have got to lock in a little bit better, and that's going to be brought in by somebody. DJ Washington gets us to midfield, and I really don't like the coverage that they're running, but I found some open space to take advantage of. So now we're at the 35-yard line. They finally pressed me, and that is such a bad pass. Now they're all backed off, and maybe this time around he's actually going to hit me. I don't know how I fooled number 5, but that gives us a 4-point lead with a minute left in the first half, and I've already broken the school receiving touchdown record. They would end up kicking a field goal, but we still have a 1-point lead, and nobody got open there, but that's including myself. So now it is 3rd down, and I cannot believe that I just got to bring this ball in. We have great chemistry, me and my QB. He threw that ball when I wasn't even open, but he just knew that I was going to make a good move on number 1 and released it, which allowed me to run in stride to catch it. Those are the types of plays that you're only going to get when you have a perfect wide receiver out there, and I would absolutely love if he sent up some more 50-50 balls because I could moss some corners, but as long as we keep moving it down the field, I don't really care how we do it, and I haven't been in the game ever since I fought for that catch. I mean, I set us up to score a touchdown there, but then they'd respond back, so we're only up by 1 possession, and on 3rd and 8, we're running a bubble screen even though I got wide open, so we're probably not picking this up. They'd then drive it all the way down the field, making it 35 all against us, but that just means I'm going to call for the ball in almost every situation that I'm able to, and I wish we would just be smart about running out the clock now that we've already gotten down to this point on the field, but I know that that's not going to happen even though I've just gotten us another first. The computer works weird in this game, so we're probably about to start burning our own timeouts in this situation, but maybe not. Coach is being smart. I'm not even out there on the field right now. I've never seen us actually chew the clock smartly in a position like this, but that touchdown means we're going to get the win over UNLV, and I had the most receiving yards I've had in a game yet. It was enough to make me a veteran starter, but I want to become a team captain so I can call extra plays, and I'm on top of the Heisman race, beating out Kentucky's Ray Davis. I should be though, because I've already cleared 1,000 receiving yards, and we're actually favored to beat Coastal Carolina. They are 4-1 though, which makes it difficult, and it doesn't help that I'm an idiot because in between games I went outside to look at the eclipse, which would have been fine if I kept my glasses on for the entire time, but I decided I wanted to see it without them, and now looking at a screen doesn't feel great, but I have to see if we're able to win a championship with New Mexico, and I'm starting to believe that it could actually be a possibility if we play really well against all the other teams on our schedule. The addition of one perfect player has changed everything, but it has not defensively as we still give up a lot of points, and this is the one time where I wish I could just play on both sides of the ball. Here on 2nd and 14, after taking that sack, we have a lot of yards to pick up, but they put me in man-to-man coverage, which wasn't wasn't a good idea. And I assume after that, I'm going to get a lot of zone looks, but they didn't do it on this play. My teammate was a yard short of the marker, so Coastal would score again. And for us only to have 7 points at this point in the matchup, we are not doing that well. If that would have just been a good pass, we would have had a touchdown, but that simply was not the case. I don't even know what's happening. But apparently we moved the chains, and I am wide open up the seam right now. I'm also going to break 2 tackles, but I must have gotten hurt because ever since then, I haven't been back in, and I'm just happy to see myself out there with a minute and a half left in the first half. That was a filthy stop and go route that I just ran, but Dylan Hopkins has not been looking in my direction, and Coastal Carolina would score again to go up by 10 before the half. We do not look very good in this matchup. It's not a good sign of what's going to come throughout the rest of the year, and I don't know why I'm not getting targets in this game. Please just feed me the ball, because good things happen whenever you do that. I'm going to break 2 tackles hopefully, and it is a shame that I couldn't stay on my feet there because I think I would have been gone. We really need to pick up this 3rd and 1, and with the corner route, I'm able to help my team do that, and I'm hoping I can simply just run that back as I'm open in the end zone. They'd also miss a 31-yard field goal, so we have it only down by 3 points, and on 3rd and 2, it is man-to-man coverage, but instead of passing, we had our quarterback take off. I can't act like I haven't been struggling a little bit to create some separation in this matchup, but apparently this play went for 58 yards, and now we're running a halfback screen where I decided to call for the ball. With that catch, we've taken a 4-point lead on Coastal Carolina, and our defense got the ball back again, so they're finally doing what we needed them to do during the first part of the game. We could really take control of things if we just had success on this drive, but I don't know what we're doing, and settling for a field goal here is not an option because they could tie things back up super easily. I'm still fighting though, and we're not running it down on the goal line, we're passing it, so that's resulted in us scoring 21 straight points, and now we just have to run out the rest of the clock. In order to do so, we're going to have to keep on picking up first downs like this, but we did a pretty good job of doing that, and that means we've improved to 5-0. From here on out, the only games left on our schedule are going to be Mountain West ones, and if you think it's going to be a cakewalk, you'd be wrong because there's a lot of tough ones that we're going to have. Just like us, Wyoming's undefeated in conference play, and we have to play this one on the road, but it could be a big win. The goal for this first drive is just move it down the field in order to reach those trees, but it could all stall out here as it's already 3rd and 5, and what happened? Dylan Hopkins could not have been any more off target, but our defense did get an interception, and I still haven't gotten a target in this game, but I should on this play. As I bring it in, I also make 2 guys fall over. Now it's on me to create enough separation to get us into the end zone here, but I messed up, and by the time 3rd down rolls around, this play was out of my control. Instead of kicking a field goal though, we're going for it, and I love the aggressiveness because that's going to lead to us getting a touchdown instead of just having 3 points, and there's another record that I've broken. It's kind of crazy that I'm already pulling numbers off like that because we're not even halfway through the season yet. I just created so much separation to not get the ball, and I feel like as of recently, I've not been getting as many targets as I was at the beginning of the year, but hopefully I make a play here and they bring me down. I think the issue I've run into is teams are so much more focused on stopping me, so after that play, coach immediately took me off the field, and like we expected, we scored a touchdown. I'm also not getting pressed anymore, which is so unfortunate because it made things easy, but they know if they do that, I'm just gonna burn them deep, so I have to find other spaces. Then when I try to do that, Dylan Hopkins gets sacked because he doesn't have enough time back there. He is gonna take off though, and if we could just end the first half the right way, we'd be sitting pretty for the rest of this game. This is a terrible 4th and 7 play call though, and I can't change it because I don't have enough coach trust left, so I just had the block. Wyoming would instantly turn it over to us though, which is a huge deal because now I'm gonna bring this ball in, and we're gonna end the first half with the touchdown we should have had. To be honest, from this point, I don't think Wyoming's gonna be able to catch us because we're already up by so much, but we blew a lead like this against Pitt, so we have to make sure we get at least a few more points, and I just wish I could get some looks on those plays where I clearly get wide open. Here on 3rd and 3, I don't think that we're gonna get the target that I was looking for, but we still get close to the marker, and I'd get pulled after that, but we'd score again, so it's all good. We're up by 28, and I don't think there's much that Wyoming can do to beat us at this point. I also have an opportunity to get a kick return here, and I think I'm gonna have my second one of the season as nobody else out there on the field is gonna be able to catch me. With our backups in after that, we'd cruise to another win, and I had my worst stat line that I've seen yet, but it doesn't change the fact that I'm still #1 in the Heisman race. Also, all we have to do to make the Mountain West Conference Championship now is not lose again, so we're in a good spot, especially because I'm halfway to becoming a team captain. Utah State's still going to be a higher overall team than us though, and I'd like to get a catch to start this game early just to have some momentum, but I didn't get a target there, and on 3rd and 1, they kind of clamped me up. Even though these corners are so much worse than me, sometimes stuff like that happens. We did go with a halfback screen, and I'm going to get over there to make a great block, which leads to us getting more, so that extra effort on that play actually paid off, and it looks like Dylan Hopkins is trying to run. It doesn't work for him all the time, but sometimes there's just not an open read to take, and he's going to do the exact same thing here. And even though I'm barely getting targets on this drive, I really don't care. I couldn't make the right block, so it's pretty much my fault we're not not going to get in, and on third down, we threw it straight to him. Every so often, we do have to settle for 3, but it's still kind of rare, and I can't believe that our defense has already gotten us the ball back, but that's a bad interception. So I'm just thankful that we'd followed up by forcing a fumble, and now I can get back to putting up some good stats on these defenses. I still think the hardest 2 challenges are have a 400-yard receiving game and make the playoffs, because we're bound to drop a game at some point, and I'm not getting a ton of targets anymore. With play calling like this, we might even lose this game, and there's no reason to run a halfback draw there or go for it on 4th and 8, but I'm going to make the play and then not get another opportunity until 3rd and 10 where it's thrown to somebody else. This has been a low-scoring first half, but as long as they're not getting any points, I guess it doesn't matter, and I really wanted this 50-50 ball. I have been waiting for that opportunity, but it didn't work. This time it would have, and those mistakes are the reason that we're starting this second half only up by 6 points, but our defense has done very well, so that at least tells us that they can perform well every so often, and on 3rd and 9 we don't get it. At some point Utah State's gonna score, so we have got to fix this broken offense, and it's all gonna come down to if I can get enough coach trust to call some of my own plays. That would make a massive difference, because some of these looks just aren't that good, especially if I'm not getting targeted, and I couldn't tell you why our quarterback would throw it to the flat instead of me, which gets us nothing. Now it's 3rd and long. He needs to instantly hit me, but I was spamming it and he didn't. We still picked it up, so somehow this drive has stayed alive, and I just ran a terrible slant route there. After taking me off the field, we'd score, and then they'd respond back, so I haven't seen the field for anything good in this game, and I don't know why they stopped giving me all the targets that I had earlier on in the year. I've been spam calling for it on almost every play, and that was my first opportunity in a while, but at least my quarterback saw me on this one, and that leads to a touchdown. When Dylan Hopkins looks in my direction, things go well for him, and I just helped him put his name into the school record book, so I'm expecting to get the ball more, but I got clamped up. They'd score a touchdown as well, which means that this game is not over, and what was I thinking running that route? They're gonna almost get all the way to the end zone again. Somehow though, we would get bailed out with an interception, and that is gonna change everything, because I personally set them up to take the lead there, and then our defense just stepped up. We really need to get this 3rd and inches though, and we aren't going to. So it is a miracle that we were able to hold them again. The fact that we almost lost that for a second is wild, and it's my fault for having a rough day. I was only able to gain about 100 coach trust, and we really need this bye week before we take on San Diego State. By now, we've pretty much sealed up our spot in the Mountain West Conference Championship, alongside also being ranked here at number 22, but I don't like playing games on the road like this, and it's nice to see that my spot in the Heisman race isn't changing. Before we continue the season with the perfect wide receiver though, a word from Prize Picks, today's video sponsor. The NBA playoffs are going to be here in less than a week, and if you think you're good at predicting player stat lines, you have to sign up for Prize Picks if you haven't already, because on there you simply pick 2 to 6 players and then higher or lower on their projections. My favorite entry type definitely has to be the smaller ones, and if you want some free cash to start out with on Prize Picks, code BORDER, the first link in my description, will double your initial deposit up to $100, and you can use this map to see if Prize Picks is available in your state. But let's get back to the career of the perfect wide receiver. Even though I still haven't completed a single challenge on this list, it is nice to see that I'm pretty close to breaking a lot of records, and if I do really well, I could start to knock off challenges as early as this week. I was wide open. That would have been a touchdown. Somebody else clearly got it though, and as I was cluelessly running around over there, I missed out on Luke getting us all the way down to the 2. This is a really good way to open things up, but San Diego State responded back extremely quick, and I don't even know where the ball is. I've not liked some of the routes that I've had to run in recent games, but this gets us the first, and I don't know how I'm ever going to go for 400 yards in a matchup if they continue to back off me from the start, but I'm still able to hopefully break free, and then they just take me out for being tired, even though I have 99 stamina, so I have to watch from the sidelines. There's a reason all of my stats have started to slow down in recent weeks, and on 4th and 2, I'm all the way over on the left side of the field, so I didn't have an impact there. The route I ran did help one of my other teammates get open, but I'm not seeing the ball much, and this would be a perfect moment for me to beat the cover 2 and get a target, so thankfully I was able to get this one. Eventually, we'd get down to the goal line, and I was able to find an open spot, but as we approach halftime, I still only have about 100 receiving yards, and I lost coach trust there because they said it was a bad call for the ball, but I think it was a bad pass. Dylan Hopkins is starting to look in my direction a little bit more though, which I can appreciate, and after we failed to get points on that drive, the Aztecs would get 7, so they've got it back within 1 possession. I got pressed pretty hard there, and I can't get to the marker. It's going to be extremely difficult for us to get any points out of this possession, but with 20 seconds left in the half, we still could, and they are clamping me up right now. We're trying to run it too, so I don't know what to think. I'm a 99 overall wide receiver. I should not be having any issues, but I have been, and I almost just want to call for a deep shot instantly. I'm going to get that with this Hail Mary, and I have actually toasted the defense. This ball is put perfectly where it needs to be. So to end the first half, we have scored 28 points, and it it was about time that I pulled off something like that. I have been waiting for that moment all season. Now for the first time, they actually have me taking a handoff, which wouldn't be the worst idea, but it doesn't pan out because our offensive line isn't great. I broke the press perfectly there though, and I'm down to the 20. By now I should have about 200 receiving yards in this game, but I need some more, and I must have gotten the wind knocked out of me because I'm not out there on the field for this third down where we take a sack. Luckily, the Aztecs offense hasn't been great, and I'm gonna bring in this 3rd and 7, but I need to beat them deep to get some more yards, and we got rid of that ball so quickly. A lot of the time, it seems like there's not even enough time out there for my deep routes to develop. So maybe I should start sitting in these zones hoping that they hit me, and it still doesn't seem to happen. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to hopefully get to 400 receiving yards in one of these games, because even though I thought I was going to have a chance in this one, I still only have about 200, and now we're near the end of the 3rd quarter, so it doesn't seem like something I'm going to be able to make happen. This ball is bouncing all around, but I just knew in the back of my head, if I went for this after they failed to catch it 3 or 4 times, I would come in and then snag it. I cannot believe that I just made that catch, but my coach was not happy with me for calling for it there, as I've not been back out there on the field. He literally benched me for the rest of that drive, so that's kind of upsetting. And even though I have built up some more coach trust, I haven't gotten as much as I would have liked in this game. I'm not sure why it was so easy for me to walk into the end zone there, but somebody must have gotten confused, and I couldn't tell you why the backups aren't out there, but I needed to catch that. That was my opportunity to make a huge play, and then I might have still been able to get to 400 yards, but even though I didn't, I'm just 131 coach points away from being the team captain, and I think this is the day that I break 2 records. Going into this one, my expectations are a little bit high, and this is not a good start, but luckily they would spot the ball at the 25-yard line, so my mistake is not going to cost us. I need to go out and have like a 200-yard game with 3 touchdowns, so that's going to be my goal, and it'll be interesting to see if Air Force can give us any issues. I didn't call for it, but Dylan Hopkins still put that ball exactly where it needed to be, and that was an amazing way to open things up. We had an extremely quick drive down the field, and I thought that I burnt that DB, and I might have, but Dylan Hopkins had already gotten the ball out, and he does that a lot. It's worked so far as he's already 6 for 6, and we're at midfield, but now he's going to find me. This should put me well over 100 yards, and Air Force is really struggling versus us. I have called for the ball again. I am going to make the catch, but if I could have caught that in stride, I would have probably been gone, and here I'm getting another 10. As we continue to move it down the field, Dylan Hopkins still does not have an incompletion in this game, and right now he's 11 for 11. He's about to be 12 for 12 for 3 touchdowns, but they're saying I was half a yard short there, and now I'm calling for it again. That means I'm going to set the NCAA record for receiving touchdowns, and I've completed the first challenge of this video. As for receiving yards, right now I'm actually on pace to hit 400 in a game, and there's another record that's going to be the most in a season by a receiver. I told you all that I was going to complete multiple challenges in this game, but the big one I'm really concerned about would obviously be getting 405 receiving yards, and this halfback screen goes for a first down. If we get up by too much, they're going to put in the backups, so that's also a little concerning, and I have been getting pulled in some odd moments where you'd think I'd be out there on the field, but there were a few plays that I missed, and we just ran the ball on 3rd and 6. We're going to kick a field goal to go up by 17, and then after getting a stop, we'd get the ball back, so this is kind of perfect, but our quarterback wants to run it instead of pass. He didn't even wait for one of us to get open there. He just scrambled, and I'm going to spam X as much as I can to where I should have gotten the target, but I didn't. I'm not sure if we're still on pace to break the 405 receiving yard record in a game now, and that's going to be such a hard challenge to complete, but maybe we could if I could catch this. I think we've got to run that back and just hope that this ball is better placed this time, which it was, and going into the 3rd quarter, I'm over 200 yards. I'm going to have to do exactly what I did in the first half, though, in the second half again, repeating it. And there's another record that I've broken, this one being a school one. New Mexico fans have got to love me, but what I'm about to do here, they're not going to love. They get the interception. That's exactly what I was hoping for, and now Air Force is able to get it back within 17. You might be wondering why I did that, and it's because that we were about to have too big of a lead, and if I'm going to get 405 receiving yards in a game, I have got to play all 4 quarters. I almost broke free, but that shoelace tackle is going to cost me about 40 yards, and I got to make up for it here on this one, which I did. Now I just need another 93, so it is possible, and I no longer need any receiving touchdowns, so I'm fine with us running here where Dylan Hopkins gets in. Air Force would not score, which means we are up by 23 going into this next drive, and that was a 31-yard reception, but I'm a little bit worried this could be the last time I see the field. If we score on this drive, coach might as well just put the backups in for the rest of the day, which is really concerning, and I am not out there on the field in the 4th quarter when all I need is like another 20 yards. If Air Force does not score on this drive, my chance of breaking the record's gone, but they would, so now all I need to do is make sure that I can get a pass or two. It looks like I'm going to need another 31, and here on 3rd and 12, I'm going to instantly call for it. I have an opportunity here. I'm also able to bring it in. I'm breaking 1 tackle, and that was a 38-yard reception, so there we go. go, I have exactly what I need. I really didn't think that this one was going to be possible to complete, because in the running back video, I had no chance at getting the rushing yards, but challenge-wise, we're doing so much better than that one, and a perfect wide receiver might make a bigger difference than a perfect running back. I mean, challenge-wise, right now we have the Mountain West locked up, along with the Heisman Trophy, but there's still one thing that could cost us, and that's losing any game, because then I don't think it's going to be possible for us to make the playoffs. Right now, there are 2 and 3 lost teams that are ranked above us, but I'm proud to say I got enough coach trust to become a team captain, and the next thing I could unlock is hot routes. That'd be great, but I just wanted to check the record books to see my name in it twice. And then for an individual game, I have the longest kick return along with the receiving yard record. Now we're getting 2-7 Colorado State, and my confidence is through the roof. If we lost this one, it would actually be so embarrassing, but they've already gotten us to a 3rd and 12, and Dylan Hopkins did not want to throw me the ball there. I got naked on the field and it didn't matter. So it's like one week we're on the same page and the next week we're completely not. And our defense has already been able to get 2 stops for us. Now I'm gonna burn number 16. He makes the diving tackle but misses, and 17's not gonna have a chance at catching me. That might be the longest touchdown of the season that I've had so far, and the Rams would follow it up with a field goal, but I got one of the plays that I love to run and I almost got free. Whenever they run man-to-man coverage out of this look, I almost always am able to get separation with that corner route, but that's the best I've ever seen them lock it down, and they kind of did again. I'm literally just gonna stay in hurry-up mode until we score, and after the Rams fumbled the kickoff, it's already looking really bad for them. Now, I probably should have had a touchdown there, and this one's also thrown out of bounds, but I was able to make this catch over number 16, and I feel like I got a foot down. There's no way that we should only be getting a field goal out of this, but as long as that's all Colorado State can do, I can't really complain, and they got back to it. I wish there was a way for me to tell my quarterback to lob the ball a little bit more, and he did perfectly there as I reached out to catch that one. So maybe me and Dylan Hopkins are on more of the same page than I thought, and this has been a fantastic first half. I don't know why they continue to try to run man-to-man versus me, but it has not worked. They're probably going to do the same thing here, and I could have a chance to moss this guy too. I fight in, so this might be a better game than the one that I had versus Air Force, and everything's really starting to open up for us here at the end of the year. Again, 32 just bit down, and I'm able to get to the end zone super easily. If only you all knew how many receiving yards I had right now after fighting for over 400 last week, because here to open up the third quarter, I already have almost that, and I thought it was going to be impossible to clear 400 yards once, but now that I've done it, we're going to do it again. I could actually tie this into a really good life lesson, which you probably never thought you'd get out of a video, but literally, sometimes you just have to lie to yourself about what's possible to achieve it. All you have to do is then achieve that one thing one time, and then you'll be able to do it repeatedly, but as I'm spitting knowledge, we just turn the ball over to them, and since they couldn't even score after that, it's probably best to just jump to the end of the game. Going into the fourth quarter, we're still up 25, and I'd personally never see the field again, but I would make a couple of more catches to break my record from last week, as I finished this game with 442 receiving yards. Now we're set to face probably our toughest opponent yet, but we have so much momentum going into it, I don't even care, and there's a good chance that we're gonna have to beat them twice, because we'll probably play them in the Mountain West Conference Championship too. We haven't gotten off to a great start in this one, as it's already 3rd and 13, but I'm gonna make the catch. So our first drive has stayed alive for the time being, and this slant gets us another first. Now we find ourselves in a 2nd and 5 where I did not call for the ball, and Dylan Hopkins does not seem to care. He has been feeding me the ball so far, as he is going to throw this one off his back foot, but we couldn't hook up, so it's a good thing that our defense held it down for us, and he's trying to scramble. After losing another 5 yards, it's 3rd and 19, but I was able to get open somehow, and now they're staying in man-to-man coverage, which is not working out for them. Unfortunately, we'd fumble it away, which leads to this field goal, but so far I've been dominating the DBs in this game, and I'm going to continue to do that with this one. Our quarterback's only completed 5 passes, and all 5 of them have gone to me, so that's a good sign of what's to come, but I'm also bound to make mistakes every so often, and look at that route. That is going to be the first touchdown of the day. The computer loves to cheat because it knows what you're supposed to run, so that's why I do differently. And finally, another one of my teammates were able to catch a pass, but I should have held on to that one, which really stinks, but because of a penalty, we're able to have another chance at picking it up, and we do. Right now, Dylan Hopkins and my chemistry is on another level. He is going to find me again, as number 3 could not keep up at all, and Fresno State's been struggling offensively to only have 3 points. After that catch, I've probably already had like 10 in this game. It's insane, but it's also working out. We've moved the chains again, and he didn't hit me on this one. That's my fault though. I should have gotten more open, because now he's starting to find some other targets, but at this point in the season, I really don't need the stats. I just need to make sure that we win. That would have been nuts if I could have pulled that one off, and we're going back for it again, but because my hands aren't as good as they should be, we have to take a field goal, and that gave Fresno State enough time to get 3 themselves, but they turned it over to start the second half, and we're down on the goal line where we only need a few more yards here. We'd end up scoring off of the run, but the Bulldogs would also get some points of their own, and what am I doing? I just ruined that play for my team because I'm greedy and I want to put up better stats, but it's not going to matter because I have broken free and neither of these DBs are quick enough to catch me. A 90-yard touchdown from Martavis Bryant Jr. puts us up by 18, and there's no way that the Bulldogs are going to be able to come back as I'm continuing to reach the end zone. With just a couple of minutes left, they have gotten it within 12, so maybe I should be a little bit concerned, but I didn't think they'd get another touchdown after that, and with a minute left, they still have all 3 of their timeouts and they're only trailing by 5 points. I had a great block on the return, but we could still actually blow this game, and I just have to try to block as best as I can. Now it's 3rd and 14, and the extra plays option doesn't change a thing, so we had to punt it back to Fresno State after not picking up a 3rd down, and even though our defense is the only reason this is even close right now, they are going to stop them, so we survived on the road, and we might be getting a rematch in a couple of weeks. I've now had 3 straight games where I've put up over 400 receiving yards, and that's crazy because now in all of the last 3 matchups, I've earned NCAA Offensive Player of the Week. We've also climbed all the way up to number 6 in the polls, and we know that we're in the Mountain West Conference Championship, but the winner between Fresno State and San Jose State this week is going to decide our opponent. I also want to point out that Boise State's not going to be a cakewalk because even though we're favored, it's an 86 overall offense versus a 68 overall defense, and I have a feeling that we're going to have a really hard time stopping them. A missed pass on our first drive has led to Boise State going up 7-0, and here on 3rd and 10, we need a big play or something to go our way, but I was not able to get open. Already trailing by 14 to the Broncos is not a good sign of what's going to come when we make the playoffs, but in order to do that, we also have to make it there in the first place, and if we don't start finding ways to get onto the board quickly, we're going to be in a lot of trouble versus Boise State. They would get us to a 3rd and 5, but I'm hoping that I'm able to hold on to this ball, and that was not an easy catch to make. Our defense would then get a stop, so we're actually not sitting bad, and I just trucked 2 guys, so all of the momentum is swinging in our favor, and that's a bad throw. I certainly did not mean to hurry it up either, but I did, and that's why we're going for it on 4th and 9, which actually paid off, and we might just score 21 straight on the Broncos because we have it back again already. With just 2 minutes left in the second half now, they've gone with man-to-man coverage, and with a guy that has the size of Martavis Bryant Jr., that is never going to work versus him. So that's what I'm hoping for on almost every play, and we broke the press with ease. Something must have changed for Boise State as well because now they can't score, and I'm always terrified in Sim and Road to Glory because I have no control over what happens, but our defense has done a solid job after giving up 14 straight early on, and because of a bad call for the ball from me, we're faced with a 3rd and long that we don't pick up. I also have no idea why we're going for it on 4th and 8 from our own 40, but that turnover led to them scoring a touchdown before the half, so it's all tied up at 21 unless I can pull off a crazy return, and that back juke did not do enough. Ideally, my quarterback at least throws it up to me a couple of times and I can make a play, but that did not happen either, and now we're stuck in a battle with the Broncos here in the 3rd quarter. I knew this one would probably be tough, but I broke that press so quick, and it's a good thing that he was looking over on the right side of the field because Dylan was able to find me, and Boise State would only get a field goal in their drive after that. You also gotta love all the backdrops in these Mountain West stadiums. I just destroyed him, and I don't even care that I didn't get the ball. That was so embarrassing. I have a feeling I'll probably get fed it off of this motion though. That's gonna leave me open in the middle of the field, and the opposing defense is so worried about stopping me that it leaves me a lot of space to be able to do stuff like this, and it also creates space for my teammates, which is what I really wanted to say. but I was not expecting to break off that run. Now, unfortunately, the Broncos just won't go away, but there's only a few minutes left in this game now, so we're set up to have success if I could have gotten it there, and the last thing I want to do is punt it back to Boise State so soon, but it looks like that might happen because it is 3rd and 13. I did not get looked at there, and we are. However, they immediately fumbled it, so we have been bailed out by the sim, and I've got to catch this ball. I accidentally called for this one, which could have been very easily intercepted, and if you thought that would end the game, you'd be wrong because Boise State would score again, but for some reason they didn't go for the onside kick, so we should have been able to take a few QB kneels and run out the rest of the clock. But the computer is so stupid, hiking the ball before they should, and we have punted it back to Boise State with about 8 seconds remaining in this game. Please just run it out. This is why I don't like Road to Glory, because I have no control over how we finish out this one, and it's a 3-on-1 for this ball, but they don't catch it. So we have kept our undefeated season alive barely, and I'm ready to see who we got in the Mountain West Conference Championship. It looks like it's going to be San Jose State, and to my surprise, every other team lost, so we've flown up to #1 in the polls. If we could just win this next game, I'd be set to complete every challenge in this video, but they've only lost lost 2 games, so this isn't a gimme. It is nice that we get to play it in our own stadium though, and having the perfect wide receiver on the team has made all the difference in us having success, but we have already thrown an interception, which is not a good sign. I figured I'd be able to just moss that corner, but it was not the case, so I need to be a little bit more careful going forward about when I call for the ball, and it was a good decision to do it on that one, but I won't do it on this play. I need to have clearly a ton of space in front of me, and I didn't hear either. I probably should have just blocked that corner that came up because I knew the halfback screen would most likely come, but there's the separation I've been looking for, and I'm also going to shed a tackle. They keep scoring touchdowns though, so we might be in a bit of trouble because our defense already struggled versus Boise State, and that is going to somehow be caught. That ball looks like it was way too out of reach to actually reel it in, but they're going to snag another one. I did not see number 1 standing there. And this conference championship is going just like our first game of the season where our quarterback had 2 interceptions. They were my fault, but we still came out on top of that one. And I hope that the same will be true in this game. They just ran man-to-man coverage. He decided to run instead of hit me. But that was a good choice on his part. And I don't know why they thought that they were going to be able to press me there, but I've cooked their entire defense, and that's going to give us a 1-point lead. Once again, though, they'd respond right back, so I'm starting to get frustrated because after that drive stalled out, they'd get 3 more, which is going to give them a 2-possession lead. And we cannot lose this game. We have to win a Mountain West Conference championship, but there's a 3rd turnover. I don't know why once the postseason hits in Road to Glory, I always seem to struggle, but our defense held it down. So after getting us the ball back pretty quickly, we still have a chance to score. And on 2nd and 15, I am going to run straight past number 24. We're in field goal range, so we should at least get it within 1 possession, but I would much rather reach the end zone instead, and that's another sack. Now we might not even get a field goal, and I'm just going to have to hope that I can come down with this ball if he would throw it, but instead it looks like we're going to be down by 9 points, and this ball has been gotten off that I am going to bring in. That's the 2nd Hail Mary to end the half I've caught in this video, and I know that they were able to get more points to open up the 3rd quarter, but we could still take the lead with this drive, so I'm really not that worried. The only reason this game's even close is because I've made a lot of mistakes calling for the ball, and we should be able to come out on top the longer that this one goes on for, but we could not pick up that 3rd and long. They'd go down the field scoring another touchdown, and I'm starting to get worried because we're approaching the end of the 3rd quarter. I had no fear until that last drive stalled out and our quarterback just decides he wants to run, but now I'm starting to get frustrated because he isn't even looking for me, and we have got to pick up this 3rd and 10. We can't afford to not get it, but he threw it to somebody else, and that's short. We're probably going to punt it here, and I'm surprised that coach is actually letting us go for it. Normally the CPU makes bad decisions. I mean, we still have a chance to come out on top of this one, and look at that, we're going to get a touchdown. So not all hope is lost, and after getting a defensive stop, it definitely isn't. I'm able to get into open space here, and I have made all 4 of those defenders miss. The back juke is one of the best moves in this game, and we're going to take the lead. That might be the best combo of back-to-back plays I've ever had, but with that missed pass on the 2-point conversion, we really need to stop, and we could get it on this 4th and 5. Our defense needs to stop number 7 though, and they do. I cannot believe how things are working out for us right now. There's just a couple of minutes remaining, and the more first downs that we pick up, the better chance we have of coming out on top. The only issue is we went backwards with our last 2 plays, so now it's 3rd and 17 that we don't get, and we're literally going to lose this game if they make it into field goal range. They pick up the 4th and 7, so we might be done for. San Jose State's about to give us our first loss. Please tell me we can get the interception here, and the fact that we dropped that ball makes me sick. They've also got a receiver open, so it's pretty much over unless they get tackled in bounds, because they got out of bounds with that one too, and give us that. I figured they'd send the field goal unit out there, and that is going to be in. So it all comes down to this, and I wish 80 would give me the kickoff. From what we've seen out of Hail Marys, we need to make sure that we at least get to midfield right here, and we did it. There's just 3 seconds left now. We need our quarterback to get this ball off. It's going to be well short. So San Jose State is going to take us down in the conference championship, and I had the game of my life, but that might knock us out of the playoffs. I'd still obviously win the Heisman, alongside a lot of other awards like the Maxwell, Walter Camp, and Blitnikoff. With these stats, that is insane numbers, and we really wouldn't fall that far, only down to number 5, but it won't matter because we lost the Mountain West Conference Championship, so I have to give away a jersey to a random commenter. As for the playoffs, I'm ready to see how we do, but we're definitely very mismatched going into this game, and for whatever reason, even though we're 5 and 12 in the college football poll, it is showing the AP rankings right now, so that's why they look messed up, but at least I've become a hometown hero. I mean, once again, these stats are crazy, almost 50 receiving touchdowns, and I was 2nd in the team in rushing yards, but what we really should talk about is how I made Dylan Hopkins win the O'Brien with some of the best stats he's ever going to put up. It blows my mind how good of a season we've had, and on the first play of this playoff game, I'm going to toast number 5 to get us a touchdown. So that's the perfect start that we were looking for, and it's going to be needed if we want any shot at winning a championship in this road to glory. Notre Dame would only be able to get a field goal on their next drive, and their their defense doesn't look great, but Dylan Hopkins did not get me the ball quick enough there, and I just want to have more shots at 50-50 ones. We'd even commit a penalty, so it's going to be 3rd and long for us, and with the curl route, I'm not going to have enough. I would hurry it up though, because I am desperate to help us win this game, and I feel like if we don't score on every possession, we're going to lose this one no matter what. I have seen how our defense has played as of recently against worser programs, so we can't make any mistakes, but I've been too tired to be out there on the field on 2nd and 3rd down, and even though I can see that ball is like half an inch away from the marker, we're going to attempt the long field goal, which is short. Now, luckily for us, Notre Dame somehow messed up, and I'm going to get by number 5 again. He also missed the diving tackle, so we're going to be up 14-3, but there's no reason this should be the case, and of course now we want to perform well after losing the Mountain West Conference Championship. That was a good block and a perfect way to end the first quarter. We have 220 total yards to their 54, so that's amazing, but I know how quickly we could blow this lead. I've gotten by number 5 again, and no way. We literally had a touchdown there, but for whatever reason, I just did not turn around for the ball, and I hope that doesn't come back to bite us. I was able to call for it on the last one, but this time Dylan Hopkins takes the sack, and how does Notre Dame still only have 3 points? I assumed that they would score after we messed that last drive up, but instead Sam Hartman threw an interception, and I got them with the stop and go, but I couldn't get the ball. The fact that he keeps turning it over, though, is incredible. We could still go up by 3 possessions on this drive, and we truthfully have not played that well offensively, but our defense is doing it for us. After that matchup against San Jose State, I figured we'd be a first-round exit, but we might not be if the perfect wide receiver could start to catch the ball again. I don't know why he's been struggling, and instead of taking the field goal, we're going for it on 4th and 1, but it's going to be the right decision. Time is winding down in the half, though, so we've got to get into the end zone quickly, and I don't know what that route was. Number 5's going to get the pick. So if anybody's been an issue for this team during the postseason, it has been me. I've got to stop making all of these mistakes, and there we go. That spin move is perfect. I might have the kick return here, and that is what we were looking for. I'm going to make up for the drops, for the bad plays, and Notre Dame has still not figured out how to reach the end zone versus us. I mean, they'd get us to a 3rd and long, but even if they get us off the field, they probably won't score. And I don't know why I said that, because it took them no time to make it a 1-possession game again, but I could get a good kick return going here, and I did not, so now we just have to methodically work it down the field on them. I've never been a big fan of this screenplay, but I'm going to try to do my best to block here. Our running back is going to fumble it away to them, and Notre Dame would score again, so it is 21-19. Luckily for us, they did not get the 2-point conversion, but I'm not going to go anywhere with this kick return, and all of those prior mistakes that I made in this game could actually come back to bite us if we don't start to play well. We're only going into the 4th quarter up by 2, and even though I became a hometown hero, I'm not able to call my own hot routes, which is driving me nuts. I want to be able to put curl routes out there on the field and stuff, especially when they're running man-to-man, but that hasn't been an option. It is now 3rd and 9, and they're going to get the interception. They read that perfectly. Please just make the tackle. The fact that we would get the ball back again after that is wild, and the fact that they would let me run straight by number 5 for the 3rd time today immediately after 2 is nuts, because we do not deserve to win this playoff game, but I think we will. I mean, after Sam Hartman threw another interception, we have it on a 1st and goal. I've been blocking forever, so I'm assuming that we're going to get in here, and with the pass, we do. I did not play well, but our defense did a fantastic job. So after going up by 3 possessions, it was clear that we'd come out on top, and there's still a way that we could win a national championship. It'll be very challenging since we have to play Ohio State next, but it is possible even if they're much better than us. They would score a touchdown on their first drive, but we could respond back, and that would have been an easy first if we didn't have an off-balance throw there, but I have gotten behind the defense, and that should lead to us tying it all up at 7. Whenever you need it, Martavis Bryant Jr. always pulls off some of the craziest plays. Maybe he can do the same with a kick return here. That was a great double spin move. Now there's just a couple of guys to beat, and I can't. It was enough to set us up in pretty good field positioning, though, and their defense is not sticking. So right now I'm playing out of my mind, and they are just going to let me toast them again. I can't believe that we're doing this well against the Buckeyes right now, but approaching halftime, we might be able to take a 2-possession lead, and that's going to be picked. I figured we'd get a better animation than that, and they'd also score a touchdown with the 2-point conversion, so there's no telling why they'd go for that, but it does give them a lead before the end of the half. And to start the 3rd quarter, I've got to step up, but I slipped. There's been way too many mistakes in this playoff that could hold us back from winning it all, but at least they continue to run man-to-man coverage, and I wouldn't even get a target on that one. It's a good thing that I didn't, because I wasn't open, and we got that one out so quickly. But in order to keep this drive alive, we still have to pick up the 3rd and inches, and we do. After 2 straight running plays, it's 3rd down again, though, and I did beat them deep here, but instead, I think we fumbled it away. And now Ohio State has a 2-possession lead on us. They're up by 12 with a minute left in this 3rd quarter, and that is not good news. I don't think I can get out of here, and we better figure things out fast, or else we're going to be a 2nd-round exit here in the quarterfinals. I mean, they have 19 first downs to or 6, so they definitely deserve to have a lead over us right now. But after how we started, I figured that we'd just cruise our way onto the semifinals, and it is now 3rd and 5 where I am not going to get a target here, but hopefully I will on this 4th down. I'm calling for it, and they read it like a book. They knew that I wanted to get the ball there. That was our only chance of picking it up, and it didn't work. Now, our defense would get a stop, but I feel like I've already made too many mistakes, and they're trying to make one by pressing me here. I broke it so quickly because of the rain. I just slipped off of Denzel Burke. I think that's who number 1 is, and I should be gone to the crib to get it back within a possession. Now we just need to get the Buckeyes off of the field. On this 3rd and 8, Kyle McCord does not get them enough, and we actually have a chance to move on to the semifinals, but that was thrown behind me. So it's 4th and 1. I'm going to run my actual route on this play, and Hopkins decided to take off. If he would have just waited for my route to develop, things would have gone so much better there, but he was impatient, and it's going to cost us. I mean, we still have all 3 of our timeouts, but we're going to have to score points so quickly, and it's driving me nuts that he is programmed to try and scramble. I got to catch this 50-50 ball, but I couldn't, so I've kind of let my team down. It's 3rd and 12. I'm not going to get enough, and they took me off of the field for the biggest play of this game on 4th and 6, but we did catch it. So now I just have to hope that I can get back out there soon because I'm watching it from the sidelines. By the time they let me get back out there on the field, there's only 1:19 left, but I made a great route there that's going to lead to a touchdown. So now I'm just hoping the ball slips out of their hands here because of the rain, but they have recovered it very easily. If we commit to stopping the run 3 times, though, we can still get it back. And all I can think about is when I thought we had a touchdown, but they got the interception. That one play changed everything in this game. On 3rd and 5, we've got to get the sack. They did get the pass off, though, and we tackled them forward. So I figured we'd never see the ball again, but the computer did something stupid, and they are kicking it back to us with just 23 seconds left on the clock. We have an opportunity. I don't know how it's even possible, but what is this play calling? And please tell me Dylan Hopkins is not going to take some stupid check down. I was able to get open. We're going to be able to advance it all the way past midfield, and I feel like I need to stay in hurry up mode. Once again, I'm able to break that press, so thank goodness to the dumb computer making a mistake that they probably shouldn't have. But now they've taken me out of the game, and I can't do anything about it. There is 6 seconds left. This is probably the final play. I'm not out there on the field, so Ohio State is going to beat us, and the perfect wide receiver did his best, but he was not able to get New Mexico a championship. This is always a fun concept, and I could play another season with him here, or transfer him to another program where he would go off with these stats. But either way, I'm super proud of the numbers we've put up. I've never seen anything like this with a wide receiver, and I guess just let me know by smashing the like button on this video if you all want to see more seasons with Martavis Bryant Jr.